Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Arbor Dungeons & Dragons, Arbor Adventures, Session 10, and Dolos has just killed a green dragon. However, his allies, which used to be his brother Farrowin, Dragonborn fighter Grax, and half-elf ranger Harak, is now down one. So that green dragon, with one blast of a breath weapon, absolutely, just literally, use this poisonous cloud, rip the flesh right off of Parak's bones. Parax is completely dead, right? But the combat only lasted one round, right? Now, actually, what's interesting is, and I want to be very transparent, right? I run a very fast game, and the reason why is I want people to come to Dungeons and Dragons and be like, oh my gosh, we played for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, right? And we told a complete story, and all these things happened, and the cool stuff happened. And the reason why is so many Dungeons and Dragons campaigns are like, hey everybody, thanks for showing up to my Dungeons and Dragons game. We're going to run 6 months of you slogging through dungeons as a dirt farmer with no powers and absolute suck, and then we'll just abandon the campaign and nothing cool will ever happen. And that's your memory of Dungeons and Dragons. It's extremely common, right? In fact, they did a study a couple years back. It might have changed. I don't think it has, but they found that most Dungeons and Dragons campaigns just peter out after 6 sessions, right? And the reason why is there's this 1980s tradition of like, wait till you see month 18 months into this campaign, 36 months into this campaign, it's going to be so cool, right? Like, and I'm telling you, get to the cool now. Session 10, fight against the green dragon, right? And we have so many storylines happening at this point that I can't even cover all the storylines. There are quests that are getting backburnered for other quests that are happening, right? And I think that's the way, a lot should be happening so they kill this. So at this point, Grax says, hey, I'm going to bury Parak. I think you need to talk to your brother Farrowin. So Dolos and Farrowin go for a walk in the woods, right? And that leaves Arisarn time to pet OE, right? Which is a major point of the campaign right now. Is there's this mystery around why the relationship is so strong between OE and Arisarn, right? He's smelling a memory on her. That's what Dolos has figured out to this point. Now that's not the full answer, but like that's what he's figured out to this point. So Dolos, takes a walk with his brother Farrowin, and his Farrowin is feeling terrible, right? He's gone on this quest with his brother, and he's trying to complete Voronway's work, which is to take the Thove, the Hate of Vecna, this cursed blade, and kill a noble champion who's aware that once they die, their soul will be swept to Vecna, and they will be immediately in a battle of wills with Vecna. And everyone else who's ever had this battle of will with that Vecna loses because they don't know what's going to happen, right? Whereas now, this champion would be prepared, and they would have set their soul right before they're killed, and they're going to meet Vecna, will to will, ready, right? So Voronway had this plan. She died, right? Voronway was drowned to death with those 54 dwarves when the human woodcutters flooded the garnet mine, right, and started the Phandalin. Well, there's debate on what started the Phandalin human woodcutter dwarven miner war, but that war is burning bright right now. So you have all this going on, and at this point, Grax goes to bury Parak, and Dolos and Farrowin have this conversation. And Dolos says, hey, you should not be ashamed because you're running away from these combats. The reality is, our family, our Elven Enclave, our family in that Elven Enclave trains assassins, right? And we do it secretly, but perhaps it's an open secret at this point. With the rest of the Enclave, it's hard to tell. And but I was trained as an assassin, and my life is loss and creating loss, right? But your life, you are not attuned to death. You're not causing death, and you're not pursuing death, right? And you don't need to be ashamed that you need to run away from these fights because you haven't been trained for them. And if you had stayed to fight, this green dragon, you surely would have died, right? And so he's encouraging his brother Farrowyn, and then he's saying, hey, keep holding on. We're going to go back to, you and I are going to head back to, we are going to head back to our Elven Enclave together, and we're going to talk to our family about this tradition of training assassins, right? And, we'll be home together. We're going to return. That's something we're going to do. So he encourages him. I give him hero points for having an excellent talk. Farrowyn, nods, but this is a very difficult journey for Farrowyn, and he keeps looking for this champion, right? But right now, they're kind of caught up in the wake, almost like a boat's wake of Erosarn, which is really fascinating, right? Really fascinating. And so that's happening, right? And at this point, Erosarn, so they get back, and Dolos sees Grax. Now, Dragonborn fighter Drax, this is the first time he's seen him back, and I tell Dolos, you noticed when he fought the dragon, when he ran forward and stabbed the dragon dead in the heart with his great sword, you've actually seen that charge yourself when you fought the mercenaries, right? And you realize that Grax is starting to actually emulate your fighting style. He's taking risks where you would take risks, and he's growing as a powerful, engaged, valuable fighter, right? And then you realize right now with you, packed on Oe, is the sword of Toravir. And that is the sword that came from Mindardus, and Mindardus died, and he had this incredibly powerful, historic blade, right? And I said, so now, logically, you would give this blade to Grax, right? But before you do that, very careful, slow your roll down. If you do that, you're certain very soon after you give him that blade, he will no longer be a follower. He will attract followers, and he will probably be out of your group, right? So right now he's been an incredibly loyal ally, but if you give him this blade, he's gonna literally level up to the point where he stops being a follower and starts to get followers, right? And so without hesitation, Dolos gives Grax the blade, which I was extremely proud of him of. Gave him a lot. I gave him hero points for that. I thought that was very selfless, right? And also I really like that the Gold Dragon Master is enjoying the story of his player character, but also enjoying the story of these non-player characters who are aiding him and wants to see their stories told as well. And I love Dungeons & Dragons. Such an amazing experience, and I really, really think that is awesome. So then Finally, Grax goes over to Dolos. Grax says to Dolos, we just slew a dragon. Almost certainly its horde is close, so we should find it and take the horde, right? And Dolos is like, ooh, you're right. Like, that was a lot of risk. Parak died. We should find the horde, right? And if we don't do that right now, it probably will happen without us, right? So we should do that. And so at the end of where we're breaking for this video, they decide to go find he talks to Erosarn, and Erosarn's like, yeah, I do need to talk to Forge Lord Shram, but we did a lot to kill that dragon. We should probably take its horde, right? And so they go off to find the dragon's hoard, which is going to be close, right? Because like this is the green dragon that lives in the Neverwinter forest, right? So probably within 20-30 miles of his lair, right? And so they go off to find the green dragon's hoards, and that's where we're going to cut this off. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion on what is the best parts of Arbor Adventures. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.